Dude, I love Shoe0nHead, man. I don't know why. I just think she's great, man. I think she does a good job. I think she's funny. I think she's a good person. We're gonna watch 30 minutes. Jesus, I can't talk very much during this. Man, this is gonna be rough. We'll try to keep our commentary to a reasonable amount to make sure that this isn't a 3-hour video. New Shoe0nHead video. Female Gooners Must Be Stopped. This is probably gonna be pretty good. I love Shoe0nHead. I love her videos. So let's jump in. Let's make sure the audio is good and let's get started. Let's check out what she's got to say and we'll do a little bit of reaction to it.
Oh, I didn't see you there. What am I reading, you ask? Well, just one of the best-selling books on Amazon right now. With millions of sales and almost 20,000 5-star reviews, this book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or BookTok, as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women, in particular, have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course.
Maybe there's more to this. Maybe there's more to it. It can't be like a sexual novel, right? It's basically it's just about farming, right?
A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job picking off monsters.
That's right, the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash, then I am a fucking raccoon. Give me all of the garbage.
Get your eyeballs on.
I'm not. I don't even know what to say here. I don't even know what to say at this point, chat.
On this because it is so good.
I regret to inform you that there is a new epidemic. An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female gooners.
I'm reading what I read.
Now, for those of you unaware, gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to porn. And smut is slang for dark romance novels, otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of porn addiction with men,
Oh my
how
God,
it can destroy
chat.
their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it. That is why they delete their browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores.
Bro, the title up top just says, okay, hear me out.
They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions and get choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless wendigos. Now, I know what you are thinking. Shoe, isn't...
I mean, she's got a point, though. Guys, like, hide it. They delete their browser history. Like, none of it exists. And then they're just like, hey, well, at least 50 Shades of Grey wasn't about some chick milking a minotaur. I can at least understand the thought process behind it. I just don't get it. I don't get like wanting to be taken to bed by a dragon.
this the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes. Yes, it is. But have you considered it takes one to truly know one? You see, women are strange, fascinating creatures. For centuries, men have tried to figure us out.
I absolutely understand
It's okay.
that.
You guys can stop freaking out. I'm here now.
What up, VPix? I understand that this goes both ways. So it's not a one-sided street, but we're definitely gonna laugh at this one side of the street for right now. Dude, my Roomba is just in here, like just screwing everything up right now. So we're sending that bitch home. Yeah, I get that this isn't a one-sided street, but we're definitely gonna have fun with this one side of the street for today.
Mood is affected by the tides and the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face, I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are truly mysterious, magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our sexuality. You see, us women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated. We are evolved. We don't watch videos of strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. No, we read about strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. It's different, okay? You don't understand. It's okay when we do it. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rapidly growing popularity of dark romance on TikTok and the
You're here for the titles of books you need to buy for your wife?
We're
gonna find some.
Disaster. Let's take a break
see what happened
from all
here.
this depressing political news
Definitely
and talk
cultured.
about something silly. Not that those political things aren't important, trust me, they are. You should be keeping up with politics and the news.
I'm pretty
when you
sure this is
can.
her
I know
sponsored
it can
segment.
be difficult to do, but fear not. I have an app for that. So before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to our sponsor, Ground News.
Feeling I'm
Ground
gonna
News
lose
is a
brain cells
website
with
and
how
an app
dumb
that
this
gives
is gonna
readers
be.
an easy way to read news
Shoe-
from all across the political
Shoe does a good
spectrum,
job.
from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political
Shoe typically
bias
does a good
that
job
helps
of
you
taking a
understand
story
the
like
full
this and
story
turning it
make
into just
sure
a
you're
fun
getting
thing.
both sides. One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind
She normally does a good
spot
job of
feature,
like
which
taking
shows
it
you
and just
news
taking
stories
something
that
that's
have
like
been
really
covered by
obscure and
one
just making
side
it
of the
funny.
political aisle and ignored
Dude,
by
I
the
love
other.
Shoe0nHead,
For example,
man.
here's a story about how Gavin Newsom is signing a bill to give
She always gets
800,000
sponsored by
Uber
Ground
and
News.
Lyft drivers in California the right to
She always
unionize.
gets sponsored by Ground News.
Cool.
Her videos
Rare
always get
Newsom
millions of
W.
views.
12 news sources covered this. 7 were left-wing.
Her
and
videos
0
always get
were
millions of
right-wing,
views,
because the
and
right
she
is
does a good
covering
job
far
of creating
more
like fun, interesting
important topic.
commentary around random
Harvard
things.
hires drag performer Lahore Vagistan.
I've seen their
as
toys.
a
They have no
visiting
leg to stand on for shaming guys for
21
liking pretty
news
game
sources covered
characters.
this.
Yeah,
20 were right-wing.
she's very good at
One
it. It's
was
just seeing how
left-wing.
dumb people are.
A country
Oh yeah, no, it's
divided,
pretty
truly.
good. She's
Ground
actually
News
pretty
also
funny.
makes it very easy
I
to
think if you
compare
just sit down and listen to what
headlines
she's
to
saying,
see
she's
how
actually
political bias
pretty good.
completely reframes a story. For example,
It's like
talking
a
about
time when
how
the internet was a little
Trump
bit
has been
different and she
posting
still
a bunch of those
exists. But that's how
sombrero
she's got,
memes,
you know, so many
and
subs.
The New York Post says White House official behind Trump's hilarious meme war on Dems revealed. And then a left-wing outlet covers the same story like, as the shutdown continues, a checked-out Trump posts childish memes. Wildly different vibes going on here.
We'll let her
I've
do
been
her
using
Ground News
since
segment and then
2021. It is one
we'll
of
move
my
on.
favorite apps. Like, it is my go-to. Like, when I wake up, I like check Twitter and then I check Ground News like immediately. But
I
don't just
guarantee
take
she
my word
does,
for it.
though.
Even the Nobel Peace Center.
I can
called
tell
it
you
an
as somebody
excellent
who got
way to
Ground,
stay
I think I got a
informed,
Ground News
avoid
sponsorship
echo
from
chambers, and
Mugen.
expand your worldview.
I actually got
Best of all,
Ground.
I am
I think I got
currently
Ground.
offering
I think I got
40% off
Mugen his
their
first
Advantage
Ground News
plan, which is the
sponsorship,
plan I use
and then
to
set him
access
up
all
for
their
repeat
amazing
sponsorships
features.
for
And it's only
Mugen.
$5 a month, which is like basically the price of a
Yeah,
coffee
no.
nowadays.
Ground News is
So go
great,
to
and they're very
grounded.news
specific on who they
/shoe
sponsor.
Or use the QR code
They're
here
very
on screen.
they're very specific on who they sponsor. They want people who talk about news and who have a good they want people who talk about news, current events, and politics, and they want people who do it in a very in like a unique way. So like I'm not surprised that she keeps getting Ground News sponsorships. She probably does a good job, and a lot of people probably grab Ground News just from watching her.
Or use the link in the video description. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? So let's get back to the video.
All right, back to the video.
BookTok is a very interesting place, and any book fans out there know how it has absolutely destroyed the hobby of literature and just flooded it with absolute slop.
Is it that bad?
Spicy slop. You see, books on TikTok are not rated by how
I've heard a lot of people talk about BookTok. Obviously, I don't have time to like read as much as I would like to, but I mean, I hear a lot about BookTok, but I spend a lot of time not on TikTok because I think TikTok is just general slop, so I don't go there very often.
well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean? Porn. It means porn. Spice level is very important to BookTokers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they have ever read? How spicy is the book they're currently reading? Spice, spice, spice. The spiciest book going viral on BookTok lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Oh my god!
I can
She's
so
stuck
relate.
like me! On the verge of moving into
I
her parents'
figured.
basement, when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef. Oh, God. With the manly meaty endowments to match.
Morning Glory Milking Farm
Dude, she just threw the book. She couldn't even finish reading it. I love it.
is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity. In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
This is every fucking BreadTube video to me, dude. This is every Jack Saint video. So,
dude, that was somebody trying to rationalize the fuck out of porn. Imagine if guys were sitting there and they were like, so in this video, Debbie is working through her daddy issues and she is expressing to the rest of the world what it feels like to not have a father love her by having many men love her at the same times. And this is a referendum on society and how society needs to treat women, but nobody would ever buy that shit.
I actually read the book myself, and I'm not gonna lie, the 19th Amendment needs to be abolished. So, like I said, the story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest Minotaur milk to make Viagra for human males. And I read the whole thing. Probably gonna be put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here like selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more dignified and normal. Now, let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point, she says the term, and I quote, the seam of his sack. So I'm reading this and the whole time I'm thinking like, okay, he probably has like a human head, right? He probably like looks—
The seam of his sack. Bro.
something like this, like, you know, just a dude with like horns. Then I see the official artwork. That's a cow. Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight up cow. In a few parts they're being intimate and it will be like, his hooves clip-clopped. My hooves will tear up your sheets. And it's like, I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she describes kissing him. And I swear to God, it was more disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and—
Dude, I'm imagining like this like really hot chick and then just like these mushy camel lips. Just like big fucking mushy camel lips just all over this chick's face, right? Like big giant fucking head, just like moosh, moosh, moosh. Moosh, 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 moosh. Oh my God. Talking about a sack scene? Dude, this is killing me.
wide his
This
mouth
is
is and how
killing me.
big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing the shit and you're just like, that's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5.5 on the Barbeau scale here. This is dangerous territory, folks. She also f***ers his ass. She f***ers the cow's ass. By the way, if you want an uncensored version of this video and all my videos, Patreon. Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version of every video, so you can hear me talking about s***ing and f***ing and f***ing a cow's ass. Is that what you freaks want? Anyway, I like how in this fantasy—
Obviously, somebody wants it. There's going to be people that sign up to her Patreon now just for her audiobook of this cow book.
world, student loans still exist. Like, we can imagine a world with minotaurs and humans in a relationship, but we can't imagine a world without student loans. Sad. Oh, and he has one of those bull rings, like the nose ring theory septum rings. And in this world, that means, like, you're married, but apparently he's divorced. The man is divorced. This is a divorced cow with a cow ex-wife. The lore is deep, folks. The funniest part, though, has to be when they go on a date. I need to just read this
I'm so... Dude, I feel bad that Shoe sat down and read this whole book just to do this review.
to you. When the bill arrived, she attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her. No, that's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not thought about it until the day after their first dinner together, realizing that in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half. What kind of feminist are you? She asked herself. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley. She had come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to pay half the other night and shouldn't have. Violet. If the commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her. The heat of his hand dropping to her knee would've. I don't want you to feel that you don't have any agency here. I might be the one giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards. Your comfort is the only thing that counts right now. And if I overstep, I want you to know you can tell me so. But that's not happening. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our careers. You can say no, you can say you don't want to.
Yeah, I'm at the point of my career where I get milked. And you're at the point of your career where you're doing the milking of all of the other studs. I don't think we're at the same point in our career at this moment. I get jerked off all day, and you jerk people off all day. We're not at the same point in our career.
See me again. You can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working. It's dinner, not a down payment of your time.
Jesus.
But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. She was a good feminist, she told herself, and she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation. Inside every woman, there are two wolves. Or two bowls. The strong, independent girl boss and the submissive, doting housewife. And in the presence of a masculine man, or a farm animal, she will fold like a lawn chair and instantly return to factory settings.
It's dinner, not a down payment for your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone, so when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. I said, okay, I highlighted that paragraph for myself.
Clean up aisle 5. So that's what I thought
What
of it.
just happened?
But what did other people think of it? What are the reviews on this book? This
Why? 4.1, 3.6 on Goodreads.
book has a 4.1 on Amazon with
Holy
21,000
crap.
ratings and a 3.6 on Goodreads with nearly 60,000 ratings. Let's just
Holy
read
crap.
some random ones here. Hear me out. Hear me out. A milking good time. Sweet and creamy. The spice is spicing. I was very leery of starting this because I thought it was just going to be porn. The plot is pretty good. The plot? Please. This is like the new, I read Playboy for the articles.
This
like,
is so
sure
bad.
You do. This book could kill a Victorian child. 5 stars. I'll never look at a jug of milk the same. I think I'm lactose intolerant now. So that happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star. Not a helpful guide. This book failed to teach me how to milk a cow, and now my family has no food for the winter. 1 star. Accidentally ordered while on pain medication after an operation. Gave this to my mom as a joke gift for Christmas. You what? Let's sigh. Why can't human males be more like this?
Oh
Tall,
my
rich, and
God.
handsome are no longer enough, boys. Now you have to be a 9-foot-tall creature from Greek mythology with a 13-inch dick. I never want to hear from
Dude,
another
I
person
love
about how they read
Shoe0nHead,
100
Remy.
books in a year. If this is the
This is Shoe0nHead, and she's talking about female gooning and BookTok and sexy books. And it's a book about a chick that got a job because she was down on her luck at a milking farm for minotaurs where they use minotaur semen to make Viagra to sell to people. I'll link the video when we're done so you guys can sub to her channel. She has tons of good content like this. She's absolutely hilarious. I'll link the video when we're done, guys. Honestly, she is so good. Dude, I think I'm lactose intolerant. Threw me off. Dude, it's amazing.
kind of slop they are consuming. Well, Ronald, man detected, this isn't for you. This is for women. So take your ass back to
Wait, so
Barely
females
Legal
goon to
Babysitter
books?
5 or
Yeah.
whatever the f you watch that
I
is
guess.
so morally superior than this. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone, okay? God bless America. It's great to live in a country where I can casually enjoy cozy erotica about a young woman who milks her way to financial security and true love with a minotaur. This is what freedom looks
Zamasi
like.
did nothing
and I
wrong,
intend to
fucking let him
fully
out.
enjoy it before the Supreme Court takes this right away next. If this is what
Dude,
freedom
we'll judge
looks
by his
like,
book and read it. Dude, I doubt
I'm
it.
really rethinking my stance on
Sounds
freedom.
like compelling
not gonna lie.
literature. Yeah.
Maybe we should have less of it. All I know is if
have no
Donald
idea,
Trump takes
Hoffmeister.
the monster porn, we are going to make 2020 look
It's
like a
worth it,
picnic,
Hellsaber.
Okay?
It's worth it.
Bullcock matters. Oh my god. Edit that out. Editor, edit that out. Women are going to be picking up Animal Farm now, like, where's the horse cock? Some of you people owe a certain streamer an apology because this book has way too many 5 stars. Some of you are lying. So after
Dude, I
buying
love
this book,
Shoe,
Amazon
man.
has given me a few interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them? I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. Gentling the beast. Cupcakes for my orc enemy. Mane of my existence. The gargoyle and the spinster. The widow and the orcs. Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator. Mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose the bear. The billionaire orc.
The
Moth
billionaire orc.
manager. Wolves and whipped cream. The wolf in my tavern. Pounded by produce. Oh, what? Are these the books the Nazis burned?
My husband only reads finance and sci-fi books, and so I think it's about time that I introduce him to some real literature. So the first book that I would like to introduce you
She's
to
going so
is
fast I
called
can't add them to my
Morning Glory Milking
cart.
Farm. And it's not a normal milking farm like with cows. What it is it's big, bulky minotaurs, and it's a special type of milking.
See, honey, she's his stepsister, and she got stuck in the washing machine again. Women on TikTok...
Oh my god, man. Jesus Christ. Oh.
are openly, proudly talking about the porn they consume and getting mad at people when they make fun of it. I hereby ban men from reacting to romantasy on TikTok.
She's not
Best-selling
wrong there,
romantasy
she's
books
not.
like A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Fourth Wing contain descriptions of hot sex. I feel like that's common knowledge, if not their primary purposes. But in recent months, BookTok has become full of men clutching their pearls while reacting to steamy scenes from these popular female-centered
There you
books.
go, step judge.
Obviously, this is all a massive performance. We live in the age of OnlyFans. The odds are that these men have seen actual porn that defies the laws of physics and God. Over 90% of men between the ages 16 and 73 watch porn in any random month. There's statistically no way all of these guys are shocked by the sex itself. What they are gawking at is sex from the perspective of female desire, scenes that depict women coming first and frequently. And what they are surprised by is the women they know love these scenes. In one video, a guy declares, "Now I know why women enjoy book clubs and wine." But his astonishment in itself is astonishing. Like, what do you think adult women were into? Not having sex and drinking wine? Grow up.
I think that whoever wrote that was another instance of like missing the forest for the trees. I don't think that the shock or the pearl clutching or the feigned shock is that women enjoy sex. I think that men are finding it humorous and they're making jokes about it because women aren't making jokes about sex. They're reading these books about dragons, like women having sex with dragons, and they find it fucking hilarious. But instead of being seen as men finding it hilarious or finding it weird or interesting, it's seen as like a personal attack on whoever's reading it, and then that is why they're like, oh, men are clutching their pearls because I'm reading a book about some fucking minotaur railing me in the ass. And it's like, I think you're kind of missing the point here on what part of that I'm finding interesting.
Imagine a group of men sitting around drinking wine, discussing the porn they watch. That is what you guys are essentially doing. It's just funny, okay? Like, it's funny. Are we really going to
I really don't think men are getting mad about this at all.
pretend that a story about a young woman getting a job milking mythical creatures to pay off her student debt is not funny? It's funny. If that makes me
Exactly.
a sexist, misogynist, you got me. To act like you are so different and above the other Gooners is just, it's silly.
Yeah, they're
I'm sorry,
laughing
but you
at it.
are no different than Joe Schmo jorking it to fat booty Latinas in Space
Yup.
12. You're sitting
Exactly.
there all high and mighty, one hand on the book, acting like you're so superior because you can perfectly envision a horse cock spinning 360 degrees in your mind. I'm not impressed. The scenes these men are reading, to many people, myself included, are insanely sexy. But purely in terms of the acts being described, they aren't all that lurid. And as many of the comments on these videos point out, there's much wilder stuff out there. For example, these men have clearly not yet discovered knotting, a popular term in romantasy right now that involves werewolves whose penises get so swollen after sex they have to stay inside their partners until the swelling subsides. Oh, honey, that's not a popular trend in romantasy. That's just a thing real dogs do. Oh, you just don't get it. You don't know what knotting is. What are these women reading, bro? What happened to that, like, stupid fucking corny Hallmark thing, going home for Christmas to your hometown and falling in love with the cute farmer
God,
boy?
dude,
What happened to that? We used to make fun of that.
Dude, I'm so fucking lost right now. Dude, I don't even know what to say.
We had until it was gone. Now women out here fantasizing about getting their asses clapped by demons and werewolves and goblins and ghouls. I remember when 50 Shades of Grey came out and people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Women are crazy. 50 Shades of Grey looks like missionary sex through a bedsheet for the sole purpose of procreation compared to the shit the average woman on TikTok is reading. At least Christian Grey was a human man and not a fucking dog. You fantasize.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, nobody bats an eye about that.
About dating the quiet, shy, nerdy girl. You know, she's innocent, she's pure, she's not like those other girls, like...
She's stupid, we always had this weird shit going on in the background, so it's more mainstream now. Oh yeah, I think the whole point here is that she's just making a joke about it, right? It's just pointing out, like, the humor in it. Sometimes it's just more the humor, but... yeah, I think it's just absolutely funny. I mean, like, romantic novels have always been a thing. But I think that the humor in it now is just where it's at on BookTok.
Going out clubbing and hooking up with random men, no. She's at home, curled up by the fire in a blanket, reading a book. Except that book is about f***ing a half-man, half-bull. Let me let you in on a little secret. The quiet, nerdy girl is way more of a freak than the average hoe. Are you kidding me? It's not even close. The average hoe might have a body count of like 15 or so, but the quiet, nerdy girl is fantasizing about getting back shots from Cthulhu. That is at least... 100 bodies. Now listen, there's nothing inherently wrong with fantasizing, okay? There's nothing wrong with role play. You know, fiction is fiction, right? You know, you're not actually going to bang your stepsister, right? These women are not actually going to bang a cow. Or at least I hope not. We all know there is a difference between fantasy and reality. Well, what happens when they try to bring fantasy into reality? Well, you get Sinners and Stardust. What in the eyes wide shut is going on here? Sinners and Stardust was supposed to be a dark romance ball for romantasy authors and fans alike.
Interesting.
So what's the big deal? Seems like a fun, sexy time, right?
The mask stays on. Pyramid Head, you take that fucking mask off and the sex is done. The mask stays on, the stilts stay on. Does not come off. You drop that sword, it's over.
If you're a woman. If you're a man, the night may have gone a little differently.
The armor stays in bed.
Alright, y'all, it appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty goddamn upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries only. A lot of you may know my good friend Animus. He's attended a signing of mine in the past and obviously is a musical artist. This past weekend, he attended Sinners and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without consent? Or to put your hands in his waistband or down his pants or touch his dick? Hello? Do we think it's okay to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose? Do we think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do we think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't do that and, you know, that shit is fiction, and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? And if that wasn't enough, during the time of this mob, him and another author received notification that an air tag was tracking him, which showed on his person all the way to his hotel room. They molested this guy until he passed out from anxiety, and then they put a f***ing tracker on him in order to stalk him back to his hotel. This poor guy.
Seems perfectly normal. If the roles were reversed here and this was done the other way around, there would not be a single batted eyelash, right? Like, this is perfectly normal behavior that everybody does. Perfectly normal, right?
Dressed like a character in one of the romantasy books at this romantasy convention full of women. That is like throwing roast beef into a pit of wolves. Or in this case, throwing a wolf into a pit of...
It's useful to remember anyone can be psychotic. Yes.
Roast beef. I remember years ago, there was this thing called cosplay is not consent. Basically,
I remember
it was a campaign to bring...
I remember this. This was a big thing about cosplayers being touched by males while they were at conventions, like coming up, putting their hands on them, putting their arms on them, like touching their arm, doing shit like that. I remember this. This was a big deal.
Attention to the fact that people at conventions would often come up to women dressed in sexy costumes and just grope and grab them without their consent. This. Yeah, apparently we have to bring that back because these women did not get the memo. I've been a furry for over a decade and attended a lot of fur cons. Sure, sometimes weird shit happens, but honestly, I can't believe the dark romance crowd is out here acting like this. Like, me and my buddies in our fursuits are more respecting of consent and bodily autonomy. Get your shit together, y'all. When the furries are calling you out for being freaks, you need to reflect.
I was literally what I was getting ready to say, dude. If the furries are calling you out, you know you've crossed a line that you cannot come back from. What up, Leon?
Something has gone horribly wrong. Not only were the men at this BookTok convention assaulted, but women were also assaulted by women. Multiple women, including a performer, reported being assaulted there as well. Even an author there said she was groped and dragged away from her friends and said no matter how many times she said no, quote, my words did nothing. May I remind you, this is a book convention.
This is crazy,
okay?
Hoffmeister.
Literal
Crazy.
BDSM clubs are more respectful than this. There needs to be more studies on how this stuff affects women's brains, because clearly some are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality. Ivy Lipton, a doctoral candidate in human sexuality, actually wrote about this for EV Magazine. I don't know what a doctoral candidate in human sexuality is, but she
didn't even know you could get a doctorate in human sexuality, but can I sign up for those classes? Clubs have written agreements? No, they do. Yeah, Rat, like when you're talking about like swingers clubs, BDS clubs, stuff like that, you have to sign paperwork to even go in. These are so unregulated. These types of clubs and signings are so unregulated that the most mentally ill person can walk in there and there's no stop to it happening, and that's very unsafe for its attendees. Like being genuine, that's very unsafe for its attendees. And if these types of conventions get out of control, they need to implement something there to keep people safe.
She's hot, so I trust her. Your brain on orgasms isn't neutral. Dopamine release during climax is a powerful conditioning agent. What you repeatedly fantasize about becomes necessary for arousal. If your erotic imagination centers around abuse, monstrous violence, and submission to non-human entities, your brain is reprogramming itself to crave just that. It's not empowerment, it's neuroplasticity at its darkest.
Fair.
Scientists, psychologists, and the general public often state that men are visual and women are emotional. When it comes to sex, men can be turned on instantly by a sexual image despite their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and porn for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels, because one is a video of two people actually having real sex, and the other is, well, just words on paper. I am, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been proven and only rejected by gooners who don't want to give it up. But is reading smut bad? You might say, duh, that's the whole point. Okay, fair enough. So let me rephrase. Is reading smut harmful? Should we shame people for things that are...
This is why I'm working on a fucking zipper taser. Dude, I need one of those. You click into orgasms? What did you break, Danny? What did you break?
Wrong, immoral, or harmful?
Tell me when you get the zipper taser fixed. I need one. You can mark it as a zipper taser and it also works. Dude, I need a zipper taser.
In my line of work, I've been told many times that shame has no place in sex. But if I use my brain for 2 seconds, it's clear that line of thinking is nonsense. Incest should be shamed, bestiality should be shamed, pedophilia should be shamed. I'm not equating monster smut with these things, but there are 50 shades of gray, so to speak, along the spectrum of harmful. Conditioning your brain and body to associate pleasure with monsters, slavery, or sexual violence is not healthy. Basically, they're cooked. Like, women are cooked. They are frying their brain.
I see what she's saying from like a psychological point of view, and she's a doctoral like candidate, so she's really studied this, and she studied the psychology behind it. So I absolutely see what she's saying, and she's making valid points. I think that to some of her point, there's like a level, not like the really weird, crazy stuff, but to some level, there are certain things that you've just either been conditioned to through life or just brain chemistry to find that turn you on. And you just have to deal with that, right? That doesn't mean that you can't do other things, but there are certain things that just work for certain people and don't work for other people. So it's one of those situations where like finds like. So if you're somebody who is turned on by like being submissive, you're going to read things about being submissive, and it's going to feed into your already submissive fantasy. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not disagreeing with this doctoral candidate because I think she's done way more research than me. So I have no room to like argue with her point, but I do think that there is definitely a level of like finds like. So if you're into being tied up, right? Like you into not having a sense of control, you're going to want to find things that are similar. It's just, when does the rabbit hole go too deep and turn you into different, make you interested in things that may not have crossed your mind. You have to learn there are limits. You have to learn what your limit is. You have to learn to stop. Not everyone can learn those things. Absolutely. And I think there's definitely a level of people's obsessive personalities and people's inability to control themselves, right? Think about gambling addicts, drinkers. Some people are just addicted to the dopamine and addicted to that next level. And no matter what you do, they're going to try to go to that next level. And they don't have self-control, and they need people around them to have self-control. The problem is when these people get around other people who have no desire to let them have self-control and want to exploit their need to fill that addiction in a way to fulfill the other person's addiction, right? So if you're somebody who is like, into being the dominator, and you find somebody who's super submissive, you can ratchet what you want up to 11, and they'll ratchet what they take up to 11, and you can get in a situation where things become abusive.
With this stuff. It's a pipeline, right? It's like the infamous evil alt-right pipeline. You start watching Shoe0nHead owning the feminists in 2015, and then in 2025 you're hailing Hitler, right? The alt-right pipeline. And this one's pipeline. Like you're reading Morning Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no. Just say no to monster porn. But why is monster smut so popular with women in particular? Like, you rarely see the opposite, and when you do, it's just like a girl with cat ears and fangs, or like a 10-foot-tall dommy-mommy vampire with giant titties. Meanwhile, women are like, I want to f the pollution monster from Fern Gully.
The pollution monster from Fern Gully, Jesus.
Let's see the responses. Why do you guys like monster romances? Asking for a friend. Several reasons. 1, human men are quite often terrible. Romance books with human men are already partly fantasy, but monsters just takes the fantasy bit further. 2, it's sort of human nature to imagine relationships with paranormal beings and creatures. We've been doing it in literature and art for centuries. It's just gotten a lot more graphic.
I feel like the number 2 there is a stretch, chat. I feel like the number 2 is a stretch. I feel like I feel like that's just like sprinkling it into the middle and hoping nobody notices.
Now, lol. 3, unique body forms / parts and
very
so many
much
different
so.
kinds of
Yeah,
dicks.
I feel like that one was just like weird.
Is sweet
like,
to her.
Like I'm just gonna sprinkle some bullshit in the middle of what I'm saying and hope nobody notices. This is nothing but cope, yeah.
Her, kind, takes care of her, protects her, works hard to be gentle, etc. Maximal escapism, minimal association to real-life assholes, the patriarchy, misogyny, and oppression of women,
monster version is no longer there,
because the monsters are less dangerous than dating actual men. As a fat woman of color, modern, contemporary, and even fantasy romances are hard to click to because they are almost always about thin white women and just too realistic, and romance in real life is not always attainable for fat women/women of color. In monster alien romance, though, my size doesn't matter, and it's easier to get into that headspace and enjoy it. I'm sick of the men on Earth and looking for some variety. Non-humans haven't betrayed and hurt me, so they feel like a safe haven, if that makes sense. Plus the unusual dick.
No, it doesn't make sense. You have mental problems. Even your fucking Reddit avatar has green hair. If it had a nose ring, it would make so much more sense. Like, all I'm taking away from these Reddit comments is these people have been hurt in the past. They have serious problems and probably some type of mental issue.
Monsters have big, fun-shaped cocks.
That one right there is the only one that seems that comment right there seems like the most genuine one.
I love some bizarre peen.
There you go.
Unique genitalia. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. A lot of women's smut,
I'm so confused.
especially monster smut, is about submission, domination, forced breeding, non-consensual consent. The women are like,
Your current Reddit avatar has green hair. That explains so much, Code. That explains so much. Sounds like they're talking about Concord game, lol.
conquered and taken and overpowered by these monsters. And I think many of these women are reading these books containing monsters and not men because masculinity and dominance in men has been completely demonized in modern society. But the truth is, many women still crave it. You see,
I think Shoe does this thing where she spends all of this time. So she spent 27 minutes making jokes about these books. And now you're getting to the end of the video where she's going to start like laying out some truth and coming to like what this video is actually about. And I can already tell where she's going with this, which is the reason women are enjoying these types of novels with these types of characters is because masculinity has been demonized in men, and men are being told on the regular to be more submissive, to be more passive, to be less masculine. And because of that, all men are becoming gentrified. They're becoming pussified, if you were. And the only place to find hyper-masculine men is in these fantasy novels and in these fantasy characters where they're not actually men. And they're characterizations of the embodiment of masculinity, this dominant, masculine, big energy. And women are resonating with that type of energy. And that is what this is. So I think that is actually where she's going with this, and I think that is where she's gonna go with it, and it makes sense. No, dude, women, statistically, women have a bad time, right? Women definitely have a bad time, dude. It's definitely tough being a woman.
monsters in these stories have those like dominant masculine traits that women like so much, but they're not human men. They have all these traits women desire without the problematic baggage human men bring, without being the men they hate or have been told to hate. It is the perfect guilt-free slop. But they don't just want a wild dominant man. They want to tame a wild dominant man. Similar to when a man sees an art hoe with a nose ring, you can save her from her daddy issues. You can do it. It definitely won't backfire and ruin your life. Go for it. Go talk to her. With many women, there's this desire for like danger and aggression, but also the desire to tame that danger and aggression. The desire to be that special woman who can melt his heart. You see, my dragon boyfriend could rip me to shreds and kill me instantly, but he won't because he's nice and he loves me. But honestly, at the end of the day, just like the video I made about the anime girl in a wheelchair where men were saying, this is the average male fantasy, and a bunch of women were like, you want to rape a disabled girl? When in reality, it was just a distilled manifestation of the average male fantasy, which is to protect and provide for a sweet woman.
Literally Bella and the Beast scenario, and yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
This is like basically the flip of that, right? This is
like when you stop and look at it, that book is literally Beauty and the Beast, right? Like, let's be honest. If you were to like change the title and put like Walt Disney at the top and then down bottom where the text is just put Beauty and the Beast, you would be like, oh, so this is the adult version of Beauty and the Beast.
It's just the distilled manifestation of the female fantasy. Men are saying this and they're saying, what do you mean you want to milk a minotaur? When in reality, it's just to have a big, strong protector and provider swoop you up and save you. And like I said in that video,
dude, this is the rated 35 version. This isn't even like rated NC-17, rated NC-25. This is like the rated 35 version. Ding, ding. There's also an adult version of that. Yeah. It's just again, like half of the fun here is like enjoying the humor and the journey to get to the point, right?
Basically both the same fantasy. This is a tale as old as time, the princess being saved from the dragon by a knight in shining armor, whether the dragon be a wheelchair or student loans, you know? But in this case, the woman is being f***ed by the dragon and the knight sits in the corner and watches or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not that deep. There are some hungers better starved than fed. And maybe as women, for the sake of society, we have to starve our hunger for minotaur yeah, that's the moral of this video. So what do you guys think? What is your
She's got a cow onesie on.
theory? Why is the monster romance genre
Oh
so
my
popular
God.
with women in particular? And
I
who
love
is your
it.
weirdest? Hear me out. Be honest. I don't want to hear no Lola Bunny.
Reminded of the
okay?
donkey
You
and
all know
Shrek
mine
memes?
already.
Yeah.
It's not that he's a fish, okay? He has an energy, okay? He has a vibe. You know what? Never mind. And I will see you guys again really soon with a new video. Bye!
Alright guys, so that was Shoe, man. I absolutely love Shoe0nHead. I think she has a great way of taking like an issue and tackling it in a fun way, right? So like for me, my big takeaway from there is she wanted to make a video about like sort of toxic masculinity and how it's downplay, you know, how it's a bad thing. And then there's like a supplement to it. I'm not going to go into the psychology on it. You guys got it. You watched the same video. But I just love how she does it, and I love how these are the types of videos she puts out. So if you guys haven't, definitely check Shoe out. She is absolutely hilarious. And there is the link to the actual video. If you guys want to check it out, give her a sub. Sub to her channel. She puts out new videos. She doesn't do it all the time. When she does put them out, they're an absolute blast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the content.